Hello and welcome back for another VOD review. This time we're going to be looking at the Dallas Fuel versus the Florida Mayhem. This review is going to go pretty much how you're expecting it to go. We're going to be doing a lot of checking out Chadmate, seeing how he does, reviewing a lot of him, because we already know how Dallas Fuel wants to play, and no offense to Florida, but they kind of suck right now. So there's not a whole lot to be learned from a macro sense, especially because of how interestingly Mayhem plays. But it is worth noting of like how Dallas Fuel tries to play against Florida, because they got to map. This went to map 5 for the Dallas Fuel, which is very unexpected for these two teams, especially now that Florida Mayhem's on a 7-match losing streak, I think now, which is not what we expected for them. I think they're 4-8. In this season right now, so they're kind of struggling. So let's just get it started, get it walking. Democles, thank you very much for 3 months. Hello. All right, we're gonna watch the Chad in work. So they're playing the Symmetra Rhine. Interesting first attempt at a... That should summarize how the rest of this review is probably gonna go, but this is what we got. Dallas Fuel is playing the Sigma, but they're both playing the Doomfist right now. Alright, they're doing it. Washington are technically better than Dallas because they beat Florida 3-0. Sure. Yeah.
Wobble wobble, motherfucker.
I just love that this is the first tech that they go for. Like, Checkmate is like trying to learn the ropes here, trying to work out, and you can tell he doesn't really know what he's going for. But they go for the pin TP, and the reason no one goes for it is it's usually insane to go for, but here we go. It works. They punish Doa. Absolute alpha energy from Chadmate. Look at him go. His shield is permanently at full health. I think he forgot he had a shield. I think he does as well. I think he keeps forgetting he has a shield. We don't need shield to wear going. Exactly. Simpy, thank you for the 2 months. I'm really glad I could be live for once. Yo, big. Alright, so they get the window down. Fire strike. Why didn't he wait for shatter? That would have been a really good shatter. Shatter! What? Checkmate's just better than Fearless. Unconventional, but better. Actually insane gameplay. Well, Checkmate dies because he forgot he had a shield. Oh, don't know about that ult by Yaki. Questionable Doom ult at the last second. Alright, well, they used 6 ultimates. Florida Mayhem literally just blew everything on that. Shield, you mean that thing for cowards? Too real, too real. Why are you reviewing a ranked game, Bob? Because, hey, sometimes you gotta do it. Alright, there he is. Dude, he legitimately just never holds shield. Like... he literally doesn't put up shield once. After he goes through this TP, he challenges Fearless to Makara. And he is like, the first person to fall is no longer the king. And that's what Checkmate does. Just no shield, nothing, just swing. But did they win? They did, yes. Oh, I don't know about that bomb by Harbin. Just swing. No taking notes of this game, guys. I think Checkmate, obviously the Mayhem, let me precurse this as well. I actually really like this strategy by Checkmate and by the Florida Mayhem. By throwing a curveball at the Dallas Fuel, right? They're doing something different that is trying to tilt the Dallas Fuel off balance, right? Because they're not going to win straight up. They just aren't. Checkmate on main tank. So I actually like that they're going for a lot of these weird plays, unconventional plays, and just doing a lot of things, right? It makes sense, and actually, this is why I like the Mayhem play against Fuel rather than when they played against Washington, because I think they just tried to play straight up against Washington, and it just didn't work. They can't, like, with Checkmate on main tank, he doesn't understand how to play the macro, and on top of that, regardless of the whole main tank situation, Florida were already struggling prior to switching out their main tank, so I don't hate it, and I kind of like that they went a little ham in the paint here.
Wobble wobble, motherfucker.
Inept Scoundrel, thank you for the fresh sub. Oh, Yaki goes down. Oh! Oh! Okay. I think they traded shatters a little bit there. Oh, no. That beat was so late by Slime. I assume he just got it. Yeah. I don't really like that beat by Slime. Like, they just, like, committed everything to this fight unnecessarily. Like, that's the second time that Mayhem has used 5 ults in that fight, and none of them look particularly good. Like, they could have easily saved Slime's beat. I guess they didn't use Gargoyles as well. They used 4. The Chadmate. Why is OG benched doing so well? We don't really know. We don't really know what the reasons are, why OG was benched, why Checkmate is playing. Well, we know why Checkmate is playing it, right? So they came out and said, OG is benched. We're picking up Checkmate because they don't want to play with a Korean main tank who's going to be on high ping. They would rather play with someone who's already in the team and, you know, plays with them, has relationships, like, in terms of, like, synergy and all that kind of stuff with Checkmate, rather than trying to bring in a high ping tank from Korea, right? So that is the reason why Checkmate is playing. We don't have the full scope of why OG isn't playing. They say OG has been not very forthcoming about, like, the reasoning. I think he's sort of, like, he's talking about how he needs, like, a bit of a break. We don't really understand what's happening. Is it the OG's decision? Is it the coaching decision? Is it a team decision? We don't really know. There's not a whole lot of information out there of why. We just know it hasn't happened. Dreamer did it, though that didn't work out too well for Houston. But Dreamer, I think... Is Dreamer still in Korea? And it is, but I think they also just, like, Dreamer has experience in the Overwatch League. Like, I think they'll just... I just don't think they wanted to do this late in the season, right? Like, they only have... Florida Mayhem only has 4 matches left, right? Including these 2 weekends, they had 6 matches left. Is it worth, like, I'm sure, like, management has also been the same as, like, is it worth signing a new main tank for six weeks? Or, well, 6 matches, right? Because it seems like they're not going to make playoffs. So, it's kind of interesting. We don't really 100% know what's going on. Alright, so there's the pin. How does that kill 3 people? Checkmate doesn't even do anything. Excuse me?
Wobble wobble, motherfucker.
Whose boop was that? Was that a slime boop? Oh, that was such a good boop. Holy shit. That was so good. Just get Custa on the main tank. Hell yeah. Oh, good boop on a Hanbin. There it is. I don't think we need to watch anything more. I think we can all agree that there's an MTD and it's not worth watching anymore, right? Are you doing my pick'ems later? Yes, I will be doing my pick'ems later. Maximum, yeah, thank you very much for the gifted sub. And that Scoundrel, thank you very much for the fresh sub. Flabacatic, thank you very much for the couple of bits. Oh, wait, what? Alright, so Florida's gonna go early. It's so...
Florida should pick up Jimmy as their main tank smiley face.
Yeah, Jimmy Lover, not now. No. They might be going a little bit too ham. Maybe a little bit too... Is he... He's gonna pin here, right? Yeah, here he goes. Like, I like playing aggressive, but it doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason to the aggression, right? There's not... he's just pinning. Like, he's getting to a corner, jumping around it, and pinning 100% of the time. Oh my god. This is way worse than I remember it. In terms of just how bad... He's not even using his shield. Like, just straight up not even using the shield. He is very feast or famine right now. His brain is too big for our understanding. I don't know about that. He makes... He makes Bumper look passive. That is true. He must have thought in his brain, and I can understand this, that when the bomb hit the floor, it blew up. Right? That has to have been the only logical reason that he used his ultimate, that his brain, like, thought it blew up. He just wanted to reset with the team. Ah. So really, he's smart. Reset with the team. Good thinking. That or he fat-fingered like Custa. It's probably more likely, let's be honest. Oh. Oh, no. You guys remember how I was like, I wish they kept playing like this against Washington?
Wobble, wobble, motherfucker.
Not exactly like this, okay? Not like, you know, maybe a little bit more tempered. Just pull back a little bit, right? Yeah, we'll talk about what I want from them later, actually. You got an Elim, though. Well, yeah, kinda. Petrick with the 3-year tier 2 subs. After 36 months, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like. And I like less than half of you. After 36 months, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like. And I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. I didn't know that was a Lord of the Rings reference. Is it a good thing? After 36 months, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like. And I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. That sounds like an insult. I feel like I just got insulted. Hey! Don't insult me. Mrs. Edis, thank you very much for the 5 months. Checkmate better than Scott Kennedy. Hey, you have no proof. Clap, well done. Nailed it.
Hello. Wobble, wobble, motherfucker.
Happy 111th birthday. Thank you. Kinch, thank you very much for the 3-month sub. What percentage of Bumper is Checkmate at this point? I'm going to say 300%. He's about a 13 out of 10 Bumper. Is he going to just pin around the corner? All right, now the shield. A little bit of shielding. There it is. Look at him. Pin. There it is. You just knew he was going to go for that pin as soon as his shield broke. All right, here we go. Kinch, thank you very much for the... Oh, wait, actually, we responded to that. Thank you. No, don't go that... First of all, I don't know why he jumps over the wall. Like, he literally, he could have gone backwards, but he decides to go forward. So then he is forced to pin and hits Sparkle with the grand scheme of it. Hey, alpha. If it works, it works. Pin. Oh, good shield. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, he almost got him. What now, Checkmate? Oh my gosh. Channeling Bumper, even Bumper can't compete with this. Oh, that was kind of unlucky. That was a good attempt. Yeah. Dude, literally every single team fight they win is because Gargoyle kills like 9 with each Diva Bomb. Is he gonna block the shatter? Oh! Dude, he is in Fearless's head right now. Except for the fact where his whole team's dying. Well, shit. I have a feeling he will charge again. I have a feeling this might not have been his last charge. That was a good stall by Spark. Slam. Oh, and he lives. That's kind of nice. He did on Hanamura. Doa knows that the only way he can block her. He's just giving Checkmate a chance, you know. Oh, good counter pin. Big slam. Did he not use his... Okay, the rest of this round wasn't particularly close. But they got the first round, though. That was fun. Alright, here we go. I thought no stream because I watched tomorrow. No, I said there was going to be a stream today. It just started later than I wanted it to. It's not going to be a long one.
Ready for battle.
Unlike getting that shut off when you're 5 HP, yeah. So here's actually something interesting to note. We actually saw the Florida Mayhem play this composition. The composition that the Houston Outlaws are like making very, very strong, right? I actually think Florida Mayhem should adopt the Houston Outlaws comp. Obviously, they're done with the Summer Showdown, so it's kind of bad for them, but I think they could have played this comp everywhere and put like Yaki Tracer, BQB like Torb, or even like a Sim, and make it work pretty well, because they actually do this pretty well.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers.
Just copy Houston and get good. Well, it's like Houston, like Florida has the talent. They just seem to not really know how they want to play. Didn't they play this against Justice then? I thought they mirrored a lot of the Reinhardt against the Justice. I can't 100% remember though. They tried to play the Reinhardt on a lot of the Brawl maps. I think they did it on some maps, but I could be wrong about that. I think Justice played it. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember watching this and being like, I don't know why Mayhem aren't playing so much Ryan. Because against the Justice, the Mayhem played like Winston and Reinhardt, and they didn't really play a whole lot of Orisa, and it was kind of confusing. I was like, why are you mirroring Winston against fucking Washington? Like, oh, gets the Fearless effect right there. Wow, the car went so far. You think BQB Ash is not comparable to his McCree? Really? I don't think BQB has ever been the problem. So how you doing, Smexy? I've always put BQB's hit scan on such a high pedestal. Somebody please heal him. Wow, they're actually gonna save it. Gangnam Jin just murdering everyone. He's not the problem here. They're a definite tank problem. Yeah. But he's not insane at Ashe. Yeah, I can see that though. Like, especially considering as we have some really fucking nasty Ashes, right? Like, in the league.
How y'all doing?
Wobble wobble, motherfucker.
Patrick with the gift sub smacks. Thank you very much. Like, tank cooldown trades are heavily in the favor of fuel in every fight. Yeah. And I just think it's like Checkmate just being like. Checkmate just isn't very experienced at Orisa, right? Obviously, he can play it serviceably, but he's not gonna, like, win it. But I think this is the Florida Mayhem's win condition, right? Like, obviously, they're never gonna mirror the Winston against the Dallas Fuel. They're smartly just playing this style and playing the double shield. Because I think this gives them a win condition. This is actually how they win it. What's your conclusion of the tank swapping? I have mine of why OG isn't playing. If I was giving a guess, and let me preface this with, this is a guess of what is happening, is OG got boomed, lost confidence in his game plan to the point that he just didn't want to play anymore. And he had such a negative attitude that he just didn't want to play anymore, and that's why the coaches think. That would be my guess of what happened. And those kind of things are never going to be, like, said out loud by the team. But that's the only thing that really makes sense. Unless, like, he would have got dropped by the team if something severe happened. I don't think the team would ever want to put Checkmate in main tank unless they really had to, which means that I think it was probably OGE's decision more than the coach's decision. So that is what leads me to that avenue of, like, something about OG personally doesn't want to play. But yeah, as I said, that's all speculation. Like, I literally have no facts or insider information on that, so. Because I've been on teams where that has happened. I've been in a team like where, like, players have lost confidence, players like Dallas Fuel, right? We had a ton of players that just, like, sort of dropped off, ton of players that got benched for no reason, or those kind of things. Like, it's generally usually like a team thing or an individual thing. That gets that point. There is a slight history to the claim, and that's it as well, right? OG is known to be very, I guess, roller coaster-esque in terms of the way that he functions throughout a season. Like, some stages he'll be incredible, some stages he just won't really perform to the best of his ability, or like he just doesn't look confident, or he just seems to, like, do very weird things. So, and that was always the risk with the Florida Mayhem picking up Dallas Fuel. That was a great engagement by the Florida Mayhem. Recognizing that they can't give Dallas Fuel the space to set up for the grab and the nano, they're trying to fight early. Like, they didn't have any ultimates, really, for that fight. I think they have... Did they bongo that fight? I think they bongoed, right? No? Oh, did they literally have nothing going into that fight? Oh, no, they bongoed. Right? Oh, no, they had nothing. That was a great engagement by Florida, then. Because, like, they have no ults. They know they're going up against the grab. They know they're going up against the nano. The best case scenario is to try and, like, get something big early. Like, BQB was even flanking during that. So, I don't really know why Dallas are trying to go on the low ground. I feel like they need to get high ground control. Otherwise, they're never gonna... Otherwise, they're never gonna... If they go on the low ground, they're never gonna be able to really get a whole lot of value. I think they're just trying to get as close to the card as possible and then just blow all their ultimates. But... theoretically, this should be an unlosable fight for the Dallas Fuel. Like, this should... If they lose this, it's like, I have a lot of questions. I can't remember how this map went. TJ, thank you very much for 13 months. Like, this is better, right? You want to force something? You want to get, like, a little bit of engaged, try and trade ultimates? Someone needs to get beat. Like, how is BQB allowed to exist up here? Did they just not realize he was here from last time? This should be the world's freest kill, right? He literally can't get supported by anyone. He has a Brig BAP. The Brig's too far away to pack him, I think. The BAP is going to have a nightmare trying to heal him. The fact that BQB is able to just stand here and shoot at them is kind of ridiculous. All right, there he goes. Fearless says no. So he goes for them. Doa uses the copy on the Orisa, I assume, to stay alive. So Fearless has to use his primal to kill BQB. and Doa kind of wastes his thing. Oh!
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Hanbin.
Огонь по готовности.
Gargoyle was probably waiting for that. I feel like that was a little greedy. And they nano the Zaya after the eat as well. Well, if there's one way that the Dallas Fuel are going to lose this fight, it's if they throw away all their ultimates just like they did. They need to get the Bob up. Oh, that wasn't a good flux. Like, why? I don't understand why if Gargoyle feels the need to flux there. Like, he's better off trying to disengage with his backline and then hope someone else can touch. But I guess they were kind of fucked anyway. That was just too many ultimates for the Dallas. Didn't feel as though they didn't practice all that much against double shield. Yeah, and we saw that throughout the weekend. Not many teams are playing the double shield, and that's why I think the Houston Outlaws double shield was so effective against the Shock, was because I don't think the Shock really had much experience playing against it. And I think you'll see a lot more teams playing the double shield to try and counter the Brawl. 100% to counter the Winston compositions, but I also think to counter the Brawl. If teams aren't comfortable in their Reinhardt Symmetra play, I think they'll start tending towards the Orisa double shield style, which is what the Mayhem are doing here. Does that mean the Fuel are going to lose on Friday? Maybe. As I said, that becomes the question, right? Have Fuel found a solution to it? They are fortunate in the fact that they got to see how the Houston Outlaws play. Like, they know exactly how the Fuel Outlaws are going to play. Outlaws played almost the same 6 heroes throughout the entirety of the series, right? They played Orisa Sigma pretty much everywhere. They played Symmetra. Dante had a little bit of flexibility on, like, the Torb. Oh, no, he played the May and the Tracer, while we saw Happy play, like, the Torb, the Hanzo, and those kind of things, and the Symmetra, so they should be able to come in with a pretty solid game plan. Whether or not that game plan will work is the second question, right? How does BQB get Jexay? Seems like a weird kill. Okay. That's weird direction of shield by Jexay, but there's also some great shots by BQB. I think people are underestimating how good Atlanta are. I think, yeah, well, I think Atlanta are sick. So, like, I predicted Atlanta versus Dallas. I think 3 of us predicted Atlanta versus Dallas. And I don't think that was a hot take as well. I think Atlanta is... I would put Atlanta top 5 in NA right now. Like, it's kind of hard. I would put them on the same place as, like, Houston and Gladiators. I don't know which one's better out of all of those. But we'll see. Feel is strong. The Mayhem game was their first in a while. But Atlanta going the whole way isn't a surprise. Yeah, not at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas lost, but I'm a consistent Dallas hater. Like, I always doubt Dallas, and then they just shit on me. And then I'm like, okay, well, next time I'll predict you, and then I just never do. What is Yaki doing? Doa doing? Atlanta Boston will be interesting this week? I don't think so. I think Boston is overhyped. I think Boston is good. And I think, you know, if they play double shield maybe, or like Stan One's been playing well on Ryan and that kind of stuff, but I can't see them, unless they really come out of their shell and their players really start popping off. I don't see them being able to go to toe-to-toe with Atlanta. Good, but yeah, like they're better than, they're not old school Boston anymore. I think they're solidly middle of the table, like with like Toronto or something like that. I think they're better than Toronto, but they're not in the same league as like Atlanta, Houston, and Gladiators, right? I don't really know why I'm watching BQB at this point. Mayhem is all over the place. Well, I guess, yeah, like I feel like, how did the tanks end up here, but the supports aren't? Oh, well, I guess the brig just died in the room. Yeah, I don't really know what Gangnam Jin's doing. What was Gangnam Jin doing for that? Like, he's just not helping them in the room at all. I think right now in the league, it comes down to flexible comps to maps. I think... See, I don't agree with that with maps. I think it's more teams that are just playing a consistent 6-man roster who have flexibility within those 6-man rosters are generally the strongest right now. And I think teams are trying to switch too much between maps, and especially their rosters between maps, and that's hurting them in the long term. And I think examples of that was Houston in the June Joust at certain times. I think that was the San Francisco Shock from time to time. Like, I just think you're better off just sticking with something good. Like, I think the meta's changed too fast that I think just getting good at something or certain things in the meta is just like the best way to go and win games. Team who can field a good brawl. Yeah, I think brawl is like 100% the most important thing right now. Then Hanamura dive / spam. See, but I think you can get away without playing dive / spam. Like, you say Hanamura dive / spam, but even on Hanamura, everyone's playing brawl, right? If you just play the brawl and you use the sim TPs effectively, and that's sort of the storyline of the June Joust, the Summer Showdown, sorry, is that if you can play the Symmetra effectively, you're generally going to win games. Well, yeah, Gangnam Jin is just playing his own game right now. Glad the moth and skewed. Yeah, I think the moth and skewed thing is interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they standardize as time goes on.
30 seconds remaining.
Is the ball comp against brawl? We don't know. And that's the thing, is we don't know. Obviously, the Shanghai Dragons are making it work very effectively against the other Eastern region teams. But I don't think any of those teams can play the brawl, especially with the Symmetra, anywhere near as effectively as the West. So the question will become when we get to the playoffs of the Summer Showdown is the Shanghai Dragons ball comp just going with Sombra going to be able to just beat everything the West is playing? We don't know. Like, I think part of me, I think the Zen Wrecking Ball Sombra comps will beat the Symmetra brawl. If I'm taking an early guess, well, I don't think that comp beats the brawl. I think Shanghai playing that comp beats the brawl. I think the double shield Symmetra style might beat it. Might. It also could just fall incredibly flat. If you make it really hard, like you play like a Torb, you make it really hard for Lip or a Sombra to farm EMP. You make it hard for Fate to slam or move around the map because you just have too much damage. And then you make it so that Izayaki on the Zenyatta can't do anything because he has to play so far away of fear of teleporter. Maybe it could work. But I also think you just straight up lose the EMPs. Like, I think EMPs are almost impossible to avoid. So that's why I'm saying is, like, I think if Shanghai are the team that is going to play it perfectly or the most likely to play it the closest to perfect. So if any team is going to make it work, it's going to be them. And I think the West, if Shanghai Dragons composition comes out that it can beat the Western Brawl comps, then I don't think the West has any answer to what Shanghai is doing. Like, Shanghai potentially has an answer to the West don't have an answer to what Shanghai is doing. No one will be able to play the Wrecking Ball Sombra Zen anywhere close to how good the Shanghai Dragons are playing as well. So, TP away from EMP, how do you react that fast? You can't react that fast. So, maybe. What do you think of the Sim TP as a counter to Dragons? Like, but the thing is, how do you counter it? Like, so what's going to happen is you guys are saying that the Sim TP is going to TP away. Like, but how do you just TP away? Like, the only, as the composition, right? So let's say you're on attack playing this double shield, slow playing style, trying to counter dive the Wrecking Ball. You can't just have a TP up at all times that you can always teleport away from. You're going to have to go to the point. You're going to have to team fight at some point, or like force them to dive at some point, and the Dragon's composition is going to be able to choose that window. I think it's going to be hard to find it, especially EMP. You can't just TP away from an EMP. The EMP is generally going to come out faster than you can get away. Play against it is the Sim Sombra. Yeah, but I don't think you can play the Sim and the Sombra with the double shield. I just don't know, because I don't think... I just don't like the Sim against that comp, but I think you need it for the TP. And then if you play the Sombra to counter the ball and have an EMP of your own, at that point, are you ever really playing counter dive? You just don't have damage, really, from range. So you have no threat to the Dragon's composition before that forces them to engage. Because the whole point of this bunker is that if you play like a Torb Sim, then you have a threat. But if you don't have that because you have a Sombra, I don't know if that's gonna work. Ryan Diva? I don't think you can play the Ryan Diva, though. I don't think the Ryan Diva... At that point, you're just playing like the Lucio, Bap, Ryan Diva, and you're just running around hoping for gold. But I don't think you're tanky enough to live. I don't know. I don't know. As I said, it's just like there's so many different elements that you need to look at and break down for that composition. We don't know. Alright, now to the Winston. Oh my god, BQB's Bob is just murdering everyone. Just forcing the point. Just get out of that room, yeah, just rally on the point. It's over.
Round 1 complete.
Hey.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Smex. As long as you can slow down the EMP charge and make it so that Fate can't just consistently slam you and roll through you. If you can find an answer to stop those two things from happening, there's a chance. But I don't... No one's been able to work that out yet. Sombra... I think it's either Sombra May... Sombra Sim, maybe, but as I said, I think you lack damage. I don't think the Sim does anything except giving you an opportunity to TP. But I also don't think you can play the Lucio with it, because I don't think having the speed boost is useful for you. I think you need to play the Brig Bap. You have to play the Brig Bap because you need the sustainability and you need the bashes. And that is what Houston play, right? Because if you play the Lucio, I think you just start getting too squishy for your own good. Sigma Torb. Brig Bap, Orisa Sigma, Torb Sombra. Yeah. And I think that's it. You play the Sombra instead of the Sim. And that's it. And that's sort of where I am. That is how I would try and break the Shanghai comp around that. Brig Anna? No, not Anna. You need the BAP. You're going to need the lamp. Why not run full dive or full bunker? You can't run full bunker because otherwise you're just never going to go anywhere. And that's the thing, you either need to play the Lucio or the Sim, because otherwise you're just playing too slow. There are certain points where they'll just be able to bunker up on the point, or bunker on those kind of things. But the problem with playing those is if you have no mobility... Okay. In that case, I think Orisa Diva... Yeah, actually, maybe the Diva against the Sombra will be better. And the Wrecking Ball, because that also gives you the opportunity for the Diva to peel away and rush down the Zen, because Izzyaki plays like a fucking madman as well. Sigma feels futile. Yeah, you'd have the shield, but I don't think it's really going to offer you much. Sig is better against Ball. Yeah, but you're not trying to counter the Ball. You're trying to stop the Sombra. Liz with also 3 years. I spent 3 years subbed to Custa, and all I got was this lousy long-term friendship. Yeah, get fucked. Thank you for 3 years, Liz. Much love. Yeah. Flix, yeah, and that's it. You're never really going to get a flux value. Like, especially with how easily Transcendence is, you're better off having a Diva Bomb, I think. Imagine friendship with an Aussie. Better than friendship with a Brit. That's why all these Brits are friends with each other. That's why Bren, Josh, and Smex just hang out together, because no one else likes them. It's coming home. And they just keep yelling, it's coming home.
Wobble, wobble, motherfucker.
Fucks. I want a national high. God damn it. Alright. Well, we went on a massive tangent talking about metas about two teams that aren't playing. But it is relevant in the grand scheme of things. I hope you guys can see the relevancy of why those things are important. And we're talking about the double shield and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Let's get back into it, though. Let's keep seeing Chadmate. You guys tangents? I know. This was supposed to be a quick VOD review, and here we are. It's your boy Chris. Thank you for the 4 months as well. Custa, is it that time of month that I give you my money? It is that time. Am I a debt collector at this point? Tax collector? No, we're more fun than that. We're a friendship collector. Thank you very much for the 4 months. Alright, so Winston play. I don't know why they went in the room. This, that was a mistake. There is no reason they should ever step into this room. Because as soon as they step into this room, this is gonna happen. Fearless is gonna jump behind you. Sparkle's gonna jump behind you. I don't know what's better on this, double shield defense or fuel comp. I honestly think it's personal preference. I think you can make the Winston work for sure, but I think you can be countered by the double shield of the Mayhem. But not everyone can play the double shield effectively, and not everyone can play the Winston comp. So that's why I like Mayhem playing this shit. Like, I molded out of control when we watched Mayhem play against Washington and Checkmate picked up the Winston. I was like, you guys lost in character selection. You're just not going to be able to play Winston at the level that you need to in Overwatch League. No matter how much you've grinded it, it's just too hard. So they're going to make the exact same thing. Oh, Fearless went the wrong way. I don't know why Fearless went this way. If Fearless just instantly went in the back of them, I think this is easy. But they sort of made a half for themselves. Oh. Gargoyle's gonna drop a flux on Fearless. I guess he traded for the primal. Not bad, not bad. Shiznez, thank you for the 6 months. Sharkbait with 100 bits. Stay focused or I'll bug you about a corgi. Oh, no, no, no. This nano is terrible. I don't mind the nano. I just think he shouldn't have gone this way. If he had literally landed behind them with the nano and just zip-zapped them the whole time, he would have got a fast primal. He would have murdered them all. But for some reason, he went for the McCree instead of the whole group. Looks like an uncalled nano. I think he called for it, but Fielder was out of position, so it came late. I think that's what I thought happened. I'm not 100% sure, though. But now it gets harder, right? Florida have positioning. They have someone on the cart. As long as they can keep whoever's on the cart healthy, like Yaki, and just keep playing, it's going to be really hard for Fuel to get in here. It has to be on Doa to get a really good EMP. I kind of... Oh, that was ambitious by Doha. I don't know why, what he thought was going to happen there, but I also don't really like how aggressive Florida went. Like, I like the aggression. I just don't know why, like, Slime just yeeted it down mid. I think they had an advantage and they sort of threw it away there by trying to step too far into the room. Like, having a fight here is great because the Sombra EMP is never really going to be hyper effective. But a couple of them stepped in here and like one went wide and then Slime like stood in the room for too long and just dies. Like they had a massive advantage in that fight. You go before or after, yeah. You can't, that was just poorly timed. Oh, Checkmate living. I know lamp. Oh, that nano felt way too early as well. I think he's gonna just murder them though, yeah. Don't reference me. I didn't ask for this. Alright. Let's see how they're gonna do this. Fearless is about to primal these guys and send them to frowny. Ooh, that was kind of poor. Oh, that was really poor by Fearless. That is an uncharacteristic fuck up on Winston. I feel like he would nail that 9 out of 10 times, but he... Like, at first I think he went too early, but he actually isolated Gargoyle, so it was fine. But then he, like, fucked up the juggle. So that's kind of a waste, and now they have nothing. Oh. And then he goes down. Fearless kind of bottoming out a little bit on this attack. On this defense, sorry. Gargoyle goes down. And here's another one where, like, it doesn't feel like Mayhem is playing to their win condition, right? Like, so here's what's happened, right? So they get the reset. Everything's good. Big fucking nade from Fielder. Great nade. Pushing them off. They get the Winston, right? They're in a good spot. All they need to do here is consolidate. And then walk the point. But Checkmate feels the need to rush the cart. Yaki tries to win a 1v1 in the room, and then Gargoyle feels like he has to go forward to help Checkmate. If they just hung around here, Gargoyle wouldn't got hacked, wouldn't have died. They don't need to force the cart at this moment. Just getting a little bit over eager, I think. You think Checkmate played fine? I don't think so. I don't think there's any reason Checkmate needs to go this aggressive. Like that. Like you see here, they actually consolidated with the bongo, and it actually forced a bunch of ults out. What was that? Nano rally. Forcing card forces high ground? Yeah, but you gotta wait for your teammates to be ready, right? Like he ran it down. Like, look at their health. Oh, let's go back. I agree that he needs to force the cart, but not right now, right? Like, he's killed him. He just used his fortify and he's half health, and now he's gonna run to the cart. I don't know. I feel like if they just played together, they could have gotten way more out of that. And has shield. Yeah, but he doesn't need to touch the cart there, I don't think. Like, I feel like he's putting his team out of position. As they try and support him. Gargo runs the cart and just dies. Yeah, but he wouldn't run to the cart if Checkmate wasn't at the cart. He's just run into his other tank. I guess Gargo could have potentially just ignored him. But I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Alright, Dollar EMP, round 2. He is not in position. Not even close to being in position right now. Alright, this is going to be a big EMP. Don't throw your translocator in. There's no reason. He's playing so slowly. He doesn't have a translo up either. Don't like that. Yeah. I don't think he needs the EMP here. I think especially with Felix going down, I think you just run away. Like, I feel like they could run away. Especially after the rally goes out. By forcing that EMP there, it forces the fuel to engage into a rally. And it was like a bait. Rally equals run. Yeah, it's this best tip. If a team ever uses rally against you, you can't win the fight. Unless you have a big ultimate to kill everyone, or you have a massive advantage, you're probably not going to win that fight. Let's drop a fat diva bomb, yeah. Do I miss the jump? I don't think he did. I think he jumped off with the understanding that he was going to throw the translocator. But I feel like he sort of gave himself, as soon as he jumped off, he was like, well, I have to go now. I don't know if Slime did see the translocator. Unless he heard it, I don't think he would have seen it. Leroy Alexander, thank you very much for the 4 months. Mayhem's comms when Checkmate had that. I haven't seen the latest comms check. Wait, what the fuck is happening? Alright, so we got Mayhem playing the double shield once again. I think this is the right call. I think this is good for them. I don't agree with the McCree. I think, if anything, we learned from the weekend. Obviously, this was one of the earlier matches, but I think you're just better off having a sim. I think if you're going to play Brig Bap, you need the sim to be able to teleport around and move your team around. And just also get out of May freezes, May ultimates, walls, just any form of maneuverability. But, yeah. Smex has a crush on Hanbin. We're learning all the important things. Oh, good kill by BQB on the Jexer. Hanbin no Krong though. I swear to God, Patrick. Patrick just knows how to piss me off with his Reddit takes. He knows which Reddit takes just annoy me. Alright, so there's the wall. And here's what I don't like about the McCree. The McCree doesn't really help you win this fight. Obviously, as the fight's happening, it's great, but I feel like he's just so exploitable. He does a good job of getting an off angle without anyone realizing him, though. But yeah. If you compare it to probably, let's look at what Sparkle did. Like, BQB's at 30% ult charge coming into this. Sparkle's at 30% as well, right? They're both at low percentage. Let's watch what Sparkle does. Just absolutely beams, right? While BQB literally gets best case scenario, gets an off angle, but he just can't do anything. He only gets the 70% ult charge. Brrr. I think Sim Mei is the best comp. I agree. I think Sim Mei is just one of the best DPS things you can run with just in general.
New defense point. Objective B.
I don't agree with this switch from BQB as well. I actually think he should have stayed on the McCree. Because I think if he could get the high noon, that is like a win condition. Because they have nothing going for them right now, right? The Doom is just a gamble. He's just hoping he's going to get something. But I think it's more likely that he's just going to get nothing and just get absolutely fucking bopped. I think BQB goes Ashe. I don't know if I agree with the Ashe because I feel like he can get way too easily isolated by Hanbin on the D.Va. On the off angle, he doesn't have enough people to help him. Ooh. Yeah, like, I love this rotation as well from the Dallas Fuel. They go across, but instead of going this way, which everyone was expecting, even the Mayhem, they actually take the high ground, which forces all the positioning from the Mayhem. And now that BQB's not on McCree and he's on Doomfist, they just get free time. Once they have them on the inner corner, they just go, right? They just go, okay, there's the win condition, drop the wall, all that kind of stuff. And here's the BQB Doomfist, which they were just so ready for. Like, they just knew exactly what was going to happen. Easy peasy. You know what I just realized? I remember this is the game I actually casted. I forgot that I casted this game. I just remembered the brrr. If Gargoyle plays aggro to get Flux, yeah, I think Mayhem just not fighting for enough positioning, right? And I think that's just the issue with the way that they were playing the composition, is that they're so focused on playing bunker and playing defensively that they're not doing anything to hold positioning. So because they have no aggressive positioning, Fuel just get in. Like, even on the first point, right, we saw Fuel lose Jexay on the thing. They literally just let Fuel stand here the whole time. Didn't force the issue at all. Jexay just comes back and then Fuel engages and they win. Mayhem are playing too slow around the composition, just sort of sticking way too much with the ropes of like how theoretically how the comp should work, but not playing it around the like map control at all. See, if they play Ashek and Hard Bait with Doom, they're playing to receive the brawl. Yeah, but my only fear is if they play the Ashe, that they need to play their tanks too aggressively, but they don't have the defensive effectiveness from a hero that could play it. Like, I kind of agree with you because I wanted them to play the McCree instead of the Ashe. Just stay on the McCree because then he would get the high noon and then he could play that off angle. He could create... they just need to create a threat from somewhere, right? They need to create something that is going to make Fuel feel uncomfortable, but they just didn't. They just let Fuel walk around and then be like, well, when they engage, we're going to go in with a Doom. And it's like, yeah, well, if they're just ready for it, they're just going to kill the Doom when he goes in. So Mayhem gets in the top left, while Dallas Fuel go to the point. So we're going to have a mirror with the Reinhardt. Oh, I just realized we're in a mirror with the Reinhardt. Let's check out the Chadmate. Let's see what he goes for. Don't do that. I think you get enough effect on it because he was already in their face, right? Like, I can understand what he's going for, but he's in their face already. He doesn't need to pin to get effective. Wow, BQB's actually just killing people. He doesn't need to go for a pin to get kills. If he just jumped down and swung, he probably would have gotten 2 to 3 swings off before he would have had to use shield. Maybe more, and then, like, he can pin later, right? He doesn't need to pin off the bat. Alright, he's walking up. Here's my question. Why are they backing up? They are missing their Symmetra and their BAP. Like, oh, I guess oh, wow. I didn't realize Gargo was getting staggered. Took a crash course from Ryan from Reinforce. The Johnny School of pinning. Alright, how's Mayhem gonna do this one? Alright, Dallas Fuel playing the same style, gonna back up to the point. So they're not going to use their TP to get in. I think it's fine because Dallas were giving them the in. Oh, they're just not going to... I would love to see them use the TP. Oh, that was a good shatter onto the DPS. I'd love to see them use the DPS, the TP as a bait. Like, I feel like Florida didn't do anything, you know what I mean? Like, they just walked onto the point and then just hoped it would work out for them. Like, I guess they don't have any ults, but they didn't... They're just walking into a Mei wall. They don't have a sim TP creating any form of disruption, getting onto the backline. Like, I would have loved to have seen BQB set his TP up here, right? Just set the TP up here, go through it once, beam some people, and then run away, right? It's going to force people to turn around. But by just walking and sort of splitting these doors, they're asking for Dallas Fuel to get a good slam, good wall. They isolate. Yaki just drops the Mei ult. Oh, sorry, Doa just drops the Mei ult, and it's pretty much free for the Dallas Fuel, right? That didn't cost them as many ults as you would want it. They kept the wall, they kept the Diva Bomb, they kept the beat. 3 of the more important ultimates. Feels like a lot of space to give up. Dallas want to give up space because they want to fight in the confines of this room, right? They have everything going for them in this room.
Thank you very much,
they're just waiting for a go button, right? So that's sort of why I'm saying the onus is in the Florida Mayhem to not walk into a trap, right? Dallas Fuel just sets up a point, sets up the trap. The reason a lot of teams don't do that is because there's a lot of ways you can manipulate the engagement in your favor. But Mayhem didn't really have a lot of ultimates going into it, but also didn't use anything from their kit, right? I think that the differentiating factor in teams is synergy and execution, not skill as much. And for this reason, I'm predicting Paris Eternal for 2nd or 3rd in Summer Showdown. I agree with you, but I think that the synergy from Paris is overhyped. Like, they are very good, and I think they're solidly middle of the pack, but are they better than the Houston Outlaws? Are they better than the Gladiators? Are they better than the Dallas Fuel? I don't see it. I really don't see it. But I agree that team synergy and coordination in these comps is what is king, rather than just, like, individual mechanics for the most part. Alright, so they TP this time onto the high ground. They drop down. They actually bust through the wall fast enough and drop their own wall. That I actually think that works out for them. The Chadmate stepping up. Great Mei ult. What did he shatter? Did he just shatter a frozen Diva? Oh, I think he thought the Mei was there as well, but she doesn't block. They get Doa. Checkmate gets run down. Oh, beat's just a little late from Slime. Oh, Jack's gonna live? No way. They need to get on the backline. They need to punish Fielder. They just committed way too hard. Who did they try and kill? So they get the wall. They try and kill Sparkle? But yeah, like, they're just ignoring Fielder. Fielder's just doing whatever he wants in the back. Just keeps everyone alive. Oh, I hate that Diva Bomb by Gargoyle as well. What is he? He's lost 3 players. It's a 3v5. Kills Jexay, but that... If anything, that's a... Oh, and they're going to use the window? Oh, wow. Is this actually going to work? Am I going to look silly? Oh, and they get the boop onto Sparkle? Okay, well, fuck it. You know, whatever. I think Fielder is underrated as fuck. I just think he's not talked about as much because he kind of gets overshadowed by Fearless and Sparkle and that kind of stuff. But Fielder's one of the best flex supports we have in the league, like, for sure. His Ana and his BAP are great. No way Fielder lives. Are they actually gonna hold this? Oh no. That was pretty poor execution from Mayhem. I didn't really like that they tried to keep this fight going, but then they looked good. How did they lose this? They got 3. There's a massive disconnect. This is like the 3rd time in this series that Gangnam Jin has ended up disconnecting himself from the rest of the team. Like, he uses his lamp. If he had just dropped here, right? Made it back to the point, grouped up with Checkmate, they would be fine, right? But because they split up, they, like, Gangnam Jin ends up in the fucking backline. Checkmate dies. Gangnam Jin does not get enough effectiveness from his, like, solo flank. Like, I guess he gets Fearless killed. But Yeah, I think that might have been on Gangnam Jin. I don't really know where he's going. He was going off the edge. He had nowhere to go with that one. Alright, there it is. Hanamura done. Oop. Mappo. Where do you think players like Masara and Jexay rank among main sports? Main sports are really difficult these days because they're spread very thin. Like Mercy, Brig, and Lucio, you need to play all the main sports. I think certain people are strong at certain things. I think, yeah, like, I also think it's very hard to see the effectiveness of main support unless you actively watch them. Like, unless you really watch them and see all the little things that they're doing, it's kind of hard to get a good grasp on how effective they're really being. Obviously, Lucio, you can see the boobs, you can see them a little bit in kill feed, but Brig, it's like, it's really hard to know how well they're doing on Brig unless you can see the whip shots, you can see how much healing they're doing, you can see how fast they're getting rally. Like, in an overview, when we're just watching it from a normal view, it's kind of hard to get that grasp on what they're doing. Can you imagine a Dow's roster with Exiona? I know, it's actually fucking filthy.
Attackers incoming.
You know about Flex Support? You can see a lot more from Flex Support because you can see the healing coming out, you can see the damage, you can see the kills a lot more. And they're like their lamps, their sleeps, all those bionades, all those kind of things. You can see when they're getting that value. Redis Moon, thank you for the 2 months. League is lucky, yeah, that's true. Dallas would be more dominant. Alright, so Mayhem playing the high ground, playing the double shield stuff against the Brawl from the Fuel. Just bunkering it down. Oh, the fearless fucking pin. I was gonna say checkmate because that felt like a checkmate pin, but it wasn't. Can we get BQB pop? Yeah, sure, we'll get BQB for the neck one. Gus, a quick question. Why is it called a main support? I talked about it a little bit in some other VODs. It's just the way it has been. Like, it's... At this point, it's kind of hard to justify why it's called main support and flex support because the role has been so, like, heavily manipulated and, like, changed so much over the years, but it's just kind of like a generic term we put on it. It's the same thing as like main tank and flex tank, right? Like that doesn't really even make sense. The only reason main tank and flex tank became a thing was main tanks used to only play Reinhardt, really, or then it became only Winston, while the flex tanks played Roadhog, Diva, Xayah, all those kind of things. So, oh wow, great play by BQB, just recognizing. They literally just set the TP into BQB's face, and he's like, mine. Lilac, thank you for the 100 bits. I may not have enough Babu bucks for hot takes, but I have money. I think their synergy may not be up to Houston or Dallas, but they're in the 20 and playing with house money. Teams like that have nothing to lose and are more dangerous. Think like 19-0 Patriots versus 8-8 Giants. Yeah, like, as I said, I'm not discrediting that Paris easily has the chops to be able to beat any team in the league right now. Like, they really do. They can beat anyone. But I just think it would always be considered an upset because I just don't think they, as you said, they have nothing to lose and everything to gain, but I also just don't think that they are going to perform as well as these other teams, just, you know, generically. That's a great lamp by Gangnam Jin. I hate that this lamp works, but that kept Slime alive for so long. Slime actually is going to live through that. That's actually kind of insulting to just the game of Overwatch, that Slime lived through all that with that lamp. As I said, I'm sure John Spector stacked it against them anyway, because how did Paris even compete in the fucking in the playoffs? If they're like, Paris is like, hey, we get to go to Hawaii, right? Everyone's like, oh shit. Guys, they want to go to Hawaii. Damn, just clean by the Dallas Fuel. I also think Dallas Fuel are kind of forcing this a little bit too much. They're just rushing into the face of the like it feels like their like maneuvers around them have failed so much that they're just teleporting into their face. But that's not gonna work against the amount of ultimates that the Mayhem have. Like they just drop the rally, they drop the flux, bada bing, bada boom. They actually even dropped the Maywall. I was gonna say that I don't really like this sim wall from Sparkle, but I guess if it forces out the Mail, then it's not too bad. But yeah, Dallasville I think is sort of, they were originally overthinking it, now they're underthinking it. Feels weird seeing a sim meta, yeah, like especially the same thing with like Torb being played as much as it is. Right. Would it be easier for them to go to Korea? Maybe. Alright, I really like this play. I remember this happening. BQB is gonna go for a flank McCree flash. He went too early. Like he sees the May and he just got greedy. If he had held like 2 extra seconds, told the Bongo to go down, and then flashed the whole backline, it would have been great. But because he tries to flash to May, it gets Matrix. All of a sudden, this is a forced engage, and it's just not good. Dallasville just drop the beat, get the hard engage, just run it down, and it creates this like brawl, which is better for the fuel than it is the Mayhem. They have the sim, they have the beat effectively, and then they're just gonna roll over them. So, good idea by the Mayhem. They didn't have many ults to work with, just poorly executed, I think. Can't EU travel now? Yeah, well, just because you can travel doesn't mean it's easy or available, right? Like, yes, they can, but now they need to fly all these players from Europe to the US, to Hawaii, which are long flights, expensive flights, hard to book flights, the flights that aren't really running very often, and all that kind of stuff, right? Thank you very much for money. Do you think Dallas not having to won a single payload map this stage is concerning? Yeah, I think it's definitely concerning. Dallas don't look as dominant as they have in the playoffs, but Dallas also historically has never looked dominant in the regular season matches, right? They went 2-2 in May Melee. I feel like they went 3-1 in June Joust. And even in the Summer Showdown, they've been winning all their games, but they've been close, right? They Mayhem went to 5 with them and all that kind of stuff. So they haven't looked as dominant as we know them, but they have a switch that they can turn on whenever they get to the playoffs, that they just overcome all problems. Opinion-free money for the top Custa cheerleader spot. Yo, Lightark, thank you very much for the 100 bits. Think Axie will return this season? I hope so. He's a phenomenal player. It would suck to see him not come back, but, you know, obviously, if he has, like, a fucking pain injury on his, like, what was it? It's a back injury? That's brutal. Good shadow by Fearless with the Diva Bomb. They do a good job of forcing Mayhem. I think Mayhem go a little too early here. I don't really, that's what I don't like about this, is I feel like the Mayhem just, like, rush it. I don't think they needed to drop everyone. I also think, like, they're always going to be able to push it to about here. I think if they dropped once the card is here, they can't disengage as well, right? But the thing that the Dallas Fuel have going for them is they can actually disengage into this corner, and they can stay somewhat, like, protected, right? Their backline got safely in there. So I think Mayhem, once again, with the right idea, maybe execution was just a little too early. I feel like if they had X'd, they might have had a worse May Melee, as they wouldn't have run the comp that they found. Yeah, but you know what's better than having just a niche comp that you're really good at that no one knows how to beat you on? Having a top 3 hit scan in the world. They don't need to play differently if they have the best hits, one of the best hit scans in the world. Like, all of a sudden that doesn't become an issue. So it's like, I feel like I'd rather just take a hit scan. But who knows? As you said, like, maybe they wouldn't have been as dominant in the hit scan meta as they were in that other meta. We'll never have the answer to that question, right? It's just always speculation. Good flash, great wall. Fearless gets isolated, but Dallas know that their win condition is just not letting Mayhem out this door. Just keep pushing the cart. The Maywar, like, all the ults and the team fight is great for the Mayhem. Oh, wow, actually, Gargoyle actually got out there and actually fighting for the cart. That's great play by the Mayhem right there. I was worried that they weren't going to have the cart, so they were like, Dallas Field just needs to stuff them in, but Gargoyle coming out the other door Great heads up play. And that's the thing about Mayhem. They're great. Individually talented, they're great. I think their synergy is great. They just seem to like drop the spaghetti more often than they really should in this meta. Like if they just play this comp more, like with this the Orisa, the Sig, like I think they could easily commit more to this comp and just do very, very well. Do you see Xy's new dog? No, I didn't. He has a new doggo. Can someone send me a picture of the new Xy doggo? Okay, great play by Fuel. Once again, Mayhem, good idea. I think the window is just a little bit early. And then Dallas do a great job of forcing another engage. Mayhem drops down, but they don't. I feel like they're engaging on the wrong people. Like, why are they just letting? It feels like they're always just letting Fielder live and just exist, right? Like, who did they engage on? They went, right? With the right call is to go, but who do they engage on? Is it Sparkle? They pull the loose. I don't even know who they're on. They drop, but I don't even know who they're on. The Bongo should have stayed on the high ground. They all should have dropped, but they shouldn't have dropped. They need to drop on a target. They're not choosing a target to go on.
10 seconds remaining.
Do you think some people in the Overwatch League take performance boosting drugs like Adderall? 100%. There is 100% players take Adderall. I've never taken it. I never saw players taking it, but I know players take it. It's sort of like, it's not just Overwatch League, right? I think Overwatch League is probably better on it than most other leagues, but Adderall is a massive issue that I think esports needs to tackle, because I've never taken it, so I don't know how much of an advantage it gives you, but I know people who have taken it that swear by it. And I've heard it from, there was an article about it in like 2019 where Ark was quoted saying, if you are not taking Adderall, then you are putting yourself at an intentional disadvantage. Which is like, well then, is everybody taking it in the Korean region? Like, how many people are taking it? How many players are taking it? The biggest issue with Adderall is some people need Adderall. They need it to focus. Like, they really have these like serious ADHD. They need it to focus, and it is so easy to get a prescription, right? So the argument becomes of, what do you do to solve the problem? Do you say, we're going to test for Adderall? Anyone who's on Adderall isn't allowed to compete in our league. What does that mean? Anyone who needs Adderall is just unable to compete at esports level? Well, then it's like, well, do you need to have it that you have your own doctor? It has to be prescribed by an esports competition doctor. And once you get confirmed for that, but then it's like, well, then you're going to be able to game the system. And the people who have to use it for their, I guess, like, that actually need it, are they playing at an advantage because they have it? It's a problem. It's a problem. And it's an esports issue, not just an Overwatch thing, but I think Adderall is a massive issue that exists in all esports, just because I've heard people say it just makes it so much easier. And I've been in a situation as a player where I've had games where like, I'm just on it, you know, where you feel like you're focused. I feel like I remember it. I get out of the game. I remember everything. It's more regular season games when there's no pressure. I can remember everything that happened in that match. I remember making every call. I remember doing that. I can come out of some games. I've come out of some games on stage where there's a ton of pressure. I haven't played very well. I was in my own head about it. And I'll come out of that game, I'm like, I don't remember what happened on many of these maps. Like, it just doesn't, like, I can't just like bring it back up. And I think that is like, Adderall really helps you hone in on those things and stay focused and do all those kind of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, Bo's very upset about it as well. But as I said, I'm not a great person to talk about it, because as I said, I've never done it. I don't really know the scene. I don't know large about other players who have done it. I will say I've heard it's really bad in COD. I have heard it's really bad in COD. I think those numbers would be interesting. But yeah. Power Cleanser. Now we've talked about the negative things of esports. Let's talk about Doggo. It's kind of like Riv. It's like Karib's dog. Oh, it's so cute. Oh my god, it's so fluffy. I love it. Like. It's okay, buddy. It's a cloud. Alright, Dallas, get the cap. BQB just murders Sparkle. Show cats. It's kind of hard. He's just like walking around. I'll try and get him when he slows down. Alright, Dallas ended up getting the spawn camp as it was. Not bad by the Mayhem because the car's not really moving, but yeah. When are you getting a dog? Specifically a corgi. Guys, god damn it, guys. The pressure is unreal. Alright. Dallasville stepping up. This should be a good fight for the Florida Mayhem. They should be able to hold here. Bo wants a dog. That's the last thing Bo wants. They are giving up a lot of positioning here. So we're in last fight territory at this point. I actually really like this window by Dallasville. As much as it does like nothing, it sort of dissuades the Florida Mayhem from going. And by doing that, it allows them to get this positioning, and now they're in a better spot, right? All of a sudden, Mayhem don't have the high ground. They're probably going to drop and force the fight here. But I think Florida's composition is going to be quite good in this situation. Dallas needs to get a really good TP to really get into this fight. They're going to go all high ground. Okay, I like this. The flex by Gargo is good. Isolates Fearless. The Mail goes down as well. This sort of just puts a slow on everything that Dallasville are trying to do. Great beat by Jack to sort of give him that little bit of time. Oh, that's a bomb. Oh, God, no. Whoo, the shatter bomb from Dallas at the last second. That was great play. It was not looking very good for Dallas in that moment, but that shatter by Fearless was sick. 33 Adderall has been a problem even Haley back in 2007. I was sadly put in Adderall. It's not great. Yeah, and that's the thing about it is like you can get into it and it does help you at the time, but I like even if I was offered Adderall and that kind of stuff, I would never have taken it because I know the negative effects of taking Adderall. Like Adderall keeps you hyper focused, but think of it like your energy bar, right? Adderall helps you tap into that energy bar, but eventually it depletes, and I've seen people who are on the come down of Adderall and they're like a zombie. You look awful, and they say it's like you're just useless for a couple of days. And it's like that sounds awful. High highs and low lows, yeah, exactly, right? So, which for young kids, right, is like not a good thing to give, right? You know, we have a lot of 18-year-old players in esports. So like meth then, it's like anything. Like there's no drug that exists that just makes you feel like $1 million or helps you and doesn't have negative effects at some point. Weed, well, weed doesn't really enhance you in any way. It more sort of chills you out. But there's also there is negatives to shrooms and weed and that kind of stuff. Adderall's a methamphetamine, so yeah. BQB just kills Doa. How does this happen? I remember this happening in this. Oh, he gets hit by a symbol? And gets dinked. Let's watch this from Doa Pop. This is going to be unfortunate. Why do I feel like this is going to end in tears? Oh my God. That's just unlucky. I don't even, you can't even say anything else about that. That's just like, he's just trying to get some extra dinks in. Hey, Bo. Chat wants to have a lookie. Do you mind if I show you? Yeah, you don't mind. Wait, why is that not working? And oh, actually, I gotta catch this because, okay, the camera's not working. I'm sorry, guys. There's not gonna be able to be cats. Look at this play. So Dallas tries to re-engage at the last second, but great wall by Yaki. Makes it so that they never even get set up. They get first point for literally free. That might be one of the fastest first point caps I've ever seen.
Stop the payload.
If I was to train my aim for 2 hours a day, how long would it take to get top 1% of aiming? If you're doing the right 2 hours of practice, you could get to top 1%. Remember, 1% is a lot. Like, if you're talking about, like, everyone in the world, or I guess everyone in gaming, even then, you could get there. Like, you could get there. I will always tell you this. I would say a lot of people in esports aren't genetically built to be great at esports, right? Or competitive games. There's not a lot of genetic requirements for it. To get good at esports, it's usually just a time thing. If you ask every single player who completes in that kind of stuff, they generally just put tons of time into it, more than most. If If you put a ton of time into it, you could also be great. It's more about having that drive and passion and willingness to put in that time and to be great. It's true about almost everything, exactly, right? Like you can, and that's where the quotes come. You can do anything you want. You literally can. You have to be willing to do it. That was kind of a very weak engage from the Dallas Fuel. Like they give up the high ground, right? Like look at this engage. They're like, they set up a TP, but then they drop. I guess they kind of got pulled, but they just like Lucio speed boost, but they don't really do it. I guess they don't have any ults, so it just kind of feels weird. But they just engage, they just lose Harbin for free, and now they have to run. Starting younger, almost, yeah, that's the same thing in life as well. Starting younger, you improve at things way faster when you are younger, because I don't know, like as I said, I'm over the hill. You can learn anything still, but you will learn it faster if you are young. If you're young, young brains are just built different. That's why kids are the future, and that's why kids always replace older generation in video games. That's why kids got so good at Fortnite, right? They just learn faster than even people who have been playing games for 10 years. Like, people for 10 years could aim better, but they couldn't, they never really learned how to build at the same level. That's another pretty weak engagement from the Dallas Fuel here. Like, Dallas is sort of struggling from the same thing that Mayhem did, where they engage on a May Orisa. They're like, get him! Oh, actually, Fearless does a great job, and this is Fearless, just what makes Fearless great is he recognizes that he needs to kill the Baptiste. Fearless had the right target selection. No one else really did. And Mayhem should get that for free. Plus, the competition gets better, exactly, yeah. They're still strong and addictive? Yeah, I agree, Denim. Like, yeah, like Adderall's not a great drug to take unless you need it. I think if you guys are interested, I can't reference it, I can't give you a link, but I actually think Dogman did a bunch of things about it. So if you go to Dogman's YouTube, you can probably find him talking about it. I know he did a bunch of research, and I know he talked to a bunch of players in the esports space using his connections and shit like that, and I think he did it. I haven't watched it, but I know he did it. So you might be able to get more information from then. I don't know if anyone else can do that. Alright, Flux is quite early. Bongo Flux pretty early on. Pretty good win. Pretty good fight win for them. I'm 51 to play. Oh yeah, you don't, like, as I said, you don't have to be young. You can get great if you just put in the time. Generally, the reason that kids get great at things as well is that they have an endless resource of time. As someone who is only getting older and having more responsibility, I think we can all agree, anyone else who's old and has responsibility, gets way harder to spend, as I said, the person who's like, oh, if I spent 2 hours doing aim training, I don't have 2 hours in my day to spend aim training. I'm not gonna lie. And I play video games for a living. But when you're younger, or when you have that kind of free time, or you're in whatever situation, oh, nice shadow by Fearless. The rally is still too strong, but yeah. Here's an article about time we talk about, yeah. Good beat engage, good mail. That was pretty good comeback. The biggest issue for the Fuel, though, with this play is they're probably going to win this fight. But here's what it cost them. It cost them, Fearless had to switch the ball. Don't have to use mail. Beat. Fearless dies. Oh god, are they still going to lose this? Good disengage by Mayhem. Understanding their win conditions. They just need to play slower. Force the engage for the Dallas Fuel. Oh, great wall by Doa, though. Should get Gargoyle killed. Checkmate goes down as well. Oh, okay. Let's see how this happens. Let's see this again. So when Smex was saying his McCree is nasty, this is why. Bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop. Oh. Great. That was just a great individual play by BQB taking the off angle. So that's less of C9 and more. Yeah, it was more of a clutch by BQB. Like, he was in a good spot, regardless of if, like, they had touched the cart. If they had run, let's say they went earlier and they started touching the cart, BQB was probably about to murder everybody anyway. So it's like, it wasn't really a C9. It was just more surprising that it caught him.
Defend objective A.
Bit off topic, but is there any value in spectating your gameplay in replays from perspective of opposing players? Not really. You're better off just looking at it through the lens of yourself. Maybe doing an overview could help. And then see how you're playing in the grand scheme of everyone, but I wouldn't look at it from the scope of the opposition players. Alright, here we go. Mayhem stepping up with the double shield once again. They have an easy win condition here, right? They just need to play slow, start getting some ultimates, hope that Dallas will make a mistake. Great wall. Like, that's just, they got the better wall. Doa goes forward, gets absolutely isolated by the wall, gets bopped at. Oh, I don't know why Yaki. That is, somebody explain to me why Yaki jumps out of this ice block. This is so greedy by Yaki. Why? That was so greedy to get that kill. He's better off staying alive, I think, than going for that. Maybe you wanted to reset? Nah, they were still in the midst of that team fight. Like, that team fight was still going 100%. Cap. Alright, so this time Dallas have let them in, which I think is a big problem. Yeah, okay, here you go. Dallas are going to try and meet them in the high ground. They're sort of getting stuck onto Checkmate. Oh, that was unfortunate that that lamp is just out of Checkmate's range. But, whoo! I think we look at Gargoyle. How much damage does Gargoyle do in this fight? Blump, 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 blump. Oh, I don't know about that pin. Slime kills 9. And that's the fight. Easy clap. Easy clap. All right, last map of the series. Oasis. This one left a lot to be desired. Here was the weakness of Florida Mayhem. I think they look really good in these double shields, and I think they should try and... Well, I keep saying they should, as if they're ever going to play this meta again, but they're not going to play this meta ever again. So it doesn't really matter that much. But I think they would have been way better off playing double shield. Because the biggest issue... They can't mirror the Winston. Like, trying to beat Dallas Fuel at Reaper Sombra, Winston, Lucio, Moira is like... that you're better off just playing some like Torb Sim or like playing something wild, because you're not gonna win the mirror. Like you're just not.
My ultimate is charging.
Let's have a look at the Checkmate Winston. All right, clean, keeping his jump like he should. Okay. Nice, he's doing a good job. He's getting ult charge. He's Checkmate Winston, kind of clean right now. All right, they got the Cole. Goes aggressive with it. Clean. All right, Primal. Not bad. All right, Primal's the Moira away from the Cole. I love it. Now he's got back on the Moira, no healing. All right, Sparkle gets the Death Blossom though. Oh, that was pretty solid. Alright, the fight's over. This is a 2v5. Oh.
I'm out of here.
Okay. I actually remember this now. I was casting this, and this is the moment that the Mayhem fucked up. And they don't recover from this. They literally just do not recover from this. If the beat went off, that was 1. In what world is that 1? I don't think that's 1 if the beat goes off. They're in a 4v6. I think it's a 4v6. If the beat goes down, everyone's still low. They had already lost. I can't remember who they lost. But yeah, they were 2 down. I don't think that was winnable. And Florida Mayhem just walk into an EMP here. Like, I think that was just too easy. Like, that's just too easy for Doha to just like walk in, just drop the EMP, and then they lose it. And that's the biggest thing, is if you're gonna lose to an EMP, you want to lose slowly, right? So then you can get ult charge. But unfortunately, they get no EMP, they didn't get coalescence out of that fight. So now that's gonna take it even longer. It could be 1, yeah. I guess that's true. It could be 1 if the beat went off. Alright, Yaki catches Doha. Good catch. Okay, so they get... Fearless gets BQB. And Gangnam Jin is in the back line. That beat by Jexer gave them so much help. Good Death Blossom. Yeah, and that cost them Primal and Cold there, so it's going to be really hard. So now Yaki needs to get a really big EMP in this next fight, otherwise it's just not going to work.
Much better.
Change off Sombra and act like it was intent. Ah, yes, the true Sombra classic in ranked. I think you want to go early here, right? They really don't have a lot going for them. He's got to be careful. He's going to get spy checked. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I remember this. Who does this catch? So Fielder fades. It doesn't, oh, it does catch the Diva. I guess the Reaper and the Moira fade, and it only hits the Diva. So that was actually a pretty good heads-up play by from the Dallas players. Then they just return with their EMP, and it's just over. Yeah, I thought it could have easily caught 4, but instead it only caught 1. So that was kind of unfortunate. Like, that was not really on Yaki. Yaki waited forever. He definitely could have gone a little bit faster. But he also uncloaked in their face. Like, any good player is going to get that fade off. Like, any good Overwatch League player is going to get that fade off. If you see someone uncloak in front of you. So, my biggest issue with the Mayhem here is I don't know why they walked into this room. I think walking into this room is a bait for this. As soon as you decide to walk out, there's a wall in your face. The lamp was good, but it's just not going to be enough. Your last few VODs on YouTube with the team pictures on top made it look way better on YouTube. Upping that production quality. Love the content. Keep it up, dude. Big fan. I'm glad people are starting to notice. Yeah, I've been, the whole point of me putting these VODs onto YouTube was originally just like like people like the content, so I was just putting it on YouTube. And I don't want to get an editor to cut it because it's like, it's easier if I have it on my hard drive. I just cut it, do it, shoot it up. As you can tell, like, I don't even really cut things in the middle of the VODs. I just want to put it up there for people to think. But I have been meaning to learn Photoshop and put thumbnails up so that you can understand what VOD it is just from seeing, seeing the thumbnail, right? So that is what that is what I've done. Yeah, it came out pretty well. Big shout outs to my good friend Heather for giving me a crash course in Photoshop. Checkmate hits a pin. Alright, we gotta catch this. We going pro now, yeah. He's gonna start photoshopping us and dumb shit. Yeah, I'm... Oh. Every time it's Sparkle. I swear to God, Sparkle has caught every reverse pin so far. He comes out, gets shattered though. He is in trouble. You know what? Mayhem won our hearts. They didn't win the game, but they did win our hearts. And that's... some would say that's more valuable. Comms check review, pause champ. Unless. Alright, we got the mail coming down from door. Yeah, Florida just not even had their foot in the door yet. They're like, every time they walk forward, they're just getting absolutely brutalized. They have not used an ultimate yet, I don't think. Has Checkmate not got a shatter yet? Florida's just straight up not having a good time. They also just TP into the face of the Dallas Fuel. They're just like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to TP in their face and then press Q. So let's see how that works out for them. Alright, Sparkle gets shattered. Great counter Diva Bomb and beat by the Dallas Fuel to re-engage onto this. Felix goes for a Chadmate pin. You can't... Oh, that's unfortunate. Checkmate got frozen. Alright, Florida's doing it. What's up with the title of your video? Can Dante play Tracer? What? Did you watch the video? It's in quotation marks because that's literally someone who, like, someone legitimately asked, can Dante play Tracer? I've been trying, I use the title as generally like the highlight of the VOD review. And I think Dante, that moment where we watched Dante play Tracer was the highlight in my opinion. So that's why I put that in there of, can Dante play Tracer in quotation marks? Because I feel like that's a kind of a ridiculous statement or question of, can Dante play Tracer? And also, it's a great clickbait, so people will watch it. So Doa gets the mail down. I feel like, oh, Florida's still getting caught by Yaki has to drop. This is so unfortunate. Also, let's catch this Hanbin 8 onto Yaki. I actually really like this Sim TP from the Dallas Fuel as well.
My teleporter is online.
Oh, good catch. Yaki thought he was safe in that corner. Nobody is safe from Hungry Hippo Hanbin. Mayhem are in Frowny Town. This is just like desperation at this point. We're just watching Hanbin put on a mask class. That was my favorite part of the VOD. Is Trail Chase Tracer even that good? Yeah. It was a good time. It was a good time. I couldn't remember what the quote was, so I just like paraphrased the quote in the title. And boom! Dallas Fuel get the win. There wasn't a whole lot we wanted to take out of that. Mayhem aren't playing anymore in that meta. I just kind of want to see Chadmate do Chadmate things. So I hope you guys found it interesting. We went on a bunch of tangents. We got a good look at the Dallas Fuel as well, a little bit more. So hope you guys found it interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.